Three, two, one. Yo, man, how y'all doing? It's Jay chilling in the building once again, man. And you already know how we do it at the 9th floor. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Come to the 9th floor so y'all can learn game the right way. And today, we're going to be reacting to our unique obsession with money. Now, me personally, I love money. I don't know about y'all. Money does indeed buy happiness, but today this brother's going to go in and explain what's Black people's unique obsession with money. Let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Come to the 9th floor so y'all can learn game the right way. Let's get it.
Question of why are we as Black people and Black culture so obsessed with flexing or showing off physical money? And I was curious if there was any historical context or reason to explain why we are the way we are. And I think I found it, and I was able to come up with my theory as to why this may be. So let's talk about it.
I mean, that's easy. This world's all about money, and you need to figure that out. Once you figure that out, you'll be better off in life.
Money runs the world. It allows you to eat, have a place to sleep, receive help from doctors, go to college, buy time, reduce suffering, create choices, and decide how much freedom you're allowed to have in your life. Literally everything is the thing that decides how comfortable your life will be. And that's for all people. But in Black culture, we have created a way to flaunt wealth that is unique to us. We have created a culture around the concept of showing off your wealth or perceived wealth in a very visual way. And this doesn't just go for money. It goes for anything that will make another person look at you and think that you have a lot of wealth, whether it's clothing, shoes.
I can't lie though. I think jewelry, or people will always say like jewelry is like, you know what I'm saying? It's like tacky and stuff like that. I do enjoy and love the way Black people rock jewelry, or like the insane types of jewelry like Black people make. Even though it's a bad money decision, it's just tough. Like, I don't care what nobody says. You can't tell me having golden teeth or diamond teeth or silver teeth, whatever type of teeth you got, when it's like a metal, it looks tougher. I don't care what nobody says. I understand. And it's not even unique to Black people. I think like in history, you see like older, I'm pretty sure like Aztecs used to rock jewelry just as hard as Black people did. So I think jewelry is a tough way to flex. It's a good way to show you got bread. Now, I don't think it's smart to have jewelry while still being like in a hood environment. I think that's absolutely stupid. I don't think there's a single point, because it's like for me, if a nigga told me he spent $20,000 on jewelry, but he still like prefers to stay in the hood, I think that's an idiot. Because instead of, you could have took that 20,000, took in like 3 of your best homies, your smartest homies that know how to get money too, and y'all just like leave the hood instead of spending $20,000 on jewelry. But that's just me.
Cars, jewelry, a big house, expensive trips, etc. Basically anything that shows people you got it like that. Even if some people don't actually have it like that, it doesn't matter. It's just the look of it all. Because most people won't know your personal financial situation. So it's just all about the look and perception of it all. And money is just a part of the things you can show off that gives someone the look of riches and success. And we have honestly perfected all the ways you can flex physical money to the point it has really become an art form. We got money phones where you get a stack of money and put it to your ear like you're on the phone. We got spreads where you fan out a stack of money showing the denomination of your bills in your stack, usually to show people that it's all $100 bills and not ones. And the art of spreading has evolved from just a simple spread to all these different creative ways to spread money in the air or on your body, with rappers like Kodak Black popularizing spreading money across his body, and with other people popularizing the different ways you can spread money.
That is still the hardest money spread I've seen to this day. I don't know how he was able to do this without dropping anything, but this money spread right here is super tough. I don't care. That's one of the like the cool things about being Black, is like anybody can do this shit, but like because so many people like just hate Black people, they don't want to do it, but they can do it. Like a white boy, Indian boy, Asian boy, a Hispanic boy could all do the flex and money spread. But it's like the thing that's crazy that is always attributed to Black people, because it is Black culture. Like You never see anybody else do this type of stuff with like money before until black people made it popular, and that's just a fact.
In the air.
Done. You ain't gonna stretch it though. You ain't gonna stretch it though. You ain't gonna stretch it though. You ain't gonna get in there. Yeah. Strike. Yeah. Let's go fight. Oh, okay. Let's go fight. You know what you're talking about? The stretch. Okay. How we go? Oh, okay. Oh, he's fast.
That shit is tough.
He done did that before. That wasn't Vegas. He done did that before.
We got people making art with money, with rappers like Hot Boy posting a picture on socials of him making a woman out of money and it going viral. Also a trend that happened around 2021 where people would make a word or a sentence with all money and then take a picture standing in front of it or laying on the ground with it and post it on social media. We even have bouquets made out of money to celebrate birthdays or special events. And sticking with birthdays, we even have a thing in our culture where when it's your birthday, you would wear a ribbon or a sash that had money pinned to it. And last but not least, we have a whole concept of ways to throw money at the strip club with things like making it rain. We have basically created a culture and identity around showing off physical money in the most creative ways. And hear me out, I'm not trying to sit up on no high horse or anything. I've taken part in trying to show off as well, but this is just an analysis of our culture. Now, before you get into
I've definitely flexed money before too. I think I made a money face mask. Like when I finally had 10,000, I did a money face mask. It's somewhere in my Google Photos. I gotta find that shit. I didn't flex a whole 10, but I told myself when I make like 10,000, I'm gonna do the money face mask, and I did it. But I gotta find that shit in my phone. That shit was tough.
Comments tell me how all races and cultures of people flaunt their wealth. That is true, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about. I'm aware that all races and cultures have their own ways of showing off wealth, with some being very visual and some being hidden or discreet. I mention this because I know a lot of people like to hate or talk bad about black people who like to show off their wealth and make it seem like black people is just so dumb with their money and all that. Like, that's not what I'm here trying to do. This is just an analysis of our culture, because I understand when black people show off wealth, a lot of times it's connected to the concept of new money, which means a person who has garnered a lot of money or more money than they had before for the first time, which means they're new to having a lot of money. And a lot is subject to each individual's like personal life experience. And when someone is new to having a lot of money for the first time, they can feel an urge to make it visible and known to everyone that they now got money. That instinct shows up across every race and culture.
No, that's a fact. Like, if you're not born into money or you're not born into the middle class, that's why I can never hate on somebody that's like what they do with their money, because it's like, it's your money, whether you got it legally or illegally. You know, what you do with your money is your money, because if you get it illegally, I mean, you took a risk like jail time. If you don't get caught, it's like, hey, you can do whatever the hell you want with your money. I will never say, the only time I'll tell somebody what to do with their money is that they ask me what to do with their money. Every other time other than that, it's like, you can't really tell somebody how to spend their money or what they're doing with their money is stupid. Because even if it is stupid, you just got to pray that they're smart enough to get smart with it eventually. But I don't care what nobody says. The second you start making money and you're not born into it, oh shit. Oh no. Hold up, y'all. I forgot. I gotta take that timer off. The second you get some new money or you reach a new level of wealth, bro, you're going to blow it on some stupid shit. That's just human nature. Like, I know everybody says, like, when I reach this amount, I'm going to, like, invest. I'm going to do this with it. I'm going to do that with it. You're fucking lying. I don't know how to tell you. You're lying. Because if you put $50,000 in most people's hands right now, they're going to buy a car. They might pay off their house. They're going to buy some new clothes. They're going to do something that somebody with the money that this new person just got that they've been having is going to say it's stupid, so it doesn't matter.
We see it with athletes, entertainers, tech founders, lottery winners. Basically any group that goes from not having to having quickly will have the urge to show it off, as I will explain why later on the video. But when it comes to parts of black culture, we are very visual and creative with our ways of showing off money. And I was curious as to why. Because I look at the world as a cause and effect when it comes to everything. Because we are who we are based on our past generations of families and societies. And when it comes to black people in America, we have a history that is unique to us. which I believe can explain the phenomenon with our obsession with flexing physical money the way we do in our culture. So, when it comes to the history of black people in America, specifically descendants of slavery, a lot of things that are part of black culture trace back to slavery and post-slavery generation. It is just because the way culture is formed and created. Culture is basically created when groups of people live under shared conditions and repeat behaviors for generation after generation. Those repeated behaviors become tradition, and tradition becoming normalized is what we later will label as culture. An example to make this clearer, let's take a look at an analogy. Imagine there's a large open field with no paths, but you need to get to the other side of the field. At first, people will walk in different directions, but over time, most people will take the same route because it's the safest, fastest, or most practical way to get to where you need to go. After enough people walk that same route day after day, year after year, a dirt path will eventually begin to form. Eventually, that grass will disappear on the trail and the path will become more obvious. And at this point, no one will question why the path is there anymore. People don't even think about it. They just follow it. That's exactly how culture is created. The path is created through repeated patterns similar to culture. So when it comes to black culture, we're often looking at traditions or cultural patterns that was passed down, creating paths that can be traced back to slavery and post-slavery system.
Yeah, and I think I always say that's why I see like the big disconnect between African culture and black culture is, right? Because like immigrants tend to come here because where they came from, they perceive it to be worse than what black Americans went through. It's kind of like you land in America, you don't got shit, just grind. Versus, I think for black Americans it's different because it's not that they're starting by zero the same way a third world country started from zero. It's like their grandparents used to get beat, killed, ridiculed, all the other. They didn't come from a homogenous society like a third world country person would. So they don't understand what it's like to be like ostracized from a society where you were brought over here in the first place, is what I always say. Like an African coming here and starting their new life and all that stuff is different than like an African kid coming here and starting their new life is different than a black American kid that's already here. Because like their culture, what their parents went through and stuff like that, they just see it differently. And it's like, I don't think it can be like explained. I think it's hard to explain. I think it's gonna stay that way. Because for a long time, I thought black people and Africans got together for the longest time, just because like like we're all black. But as I get older and I began to understand the cultural differences and stuff like that, like me, I'm fully Americanized. Like I didn't even know what Afrobeats was till like 2-3 years ago. So like the only thing about African culture I could say I understand is like the accent and the dialect. And then like the different African soups and stuff like that. And even that, I wasn't even saying that shit correctly for like my whole life. So there is a disconnect there between black Americans and like African immigrants, especially since it's like, that's like where I'm from. I mean, yeah, that's where I'm from. So culture does play a big role in how people do see money.
And I want to make it clear before continuing that I understand that everything isn't because of slavery. But slavery was the starting condition that shaped adaptation. It's the open field in the analogy. So our black ancestors started a lot of the traditions and paths that we built our current culture on top of today. So what does all this have to do with our obsession with flexing money? So today, flexing money is mostly just a cultural thing, mostly. It still has some roots tied into other things I'm going to get into, but I wanted to understand why it even became a cultural thing to begin with. Basically, why was that path even formed in the open field? But to understand this, we have to go back to our history. So during the beginning of slavery in America, it's important to understand that our prior culture and traditions that was passed down, basically our previous paths that we used to follow in West and Central Africa, was basically erased. Because the system of slavery depended on breaking identity, separating families, banning languages, and spiritual practices, all for the purpose of preventing unity, resistance, and identity. This is what essentially created our now new open field in the analogy, because we basically had to start over with creating new traditions and cultures in this new world of America where we had to live in as slaves. And during slavery, we were poor, of course, because we were working about 10 to 16 hours a day and about 6 days a week. all while receiving about $0 an hour for our services. And after slavery, we were technically free, but still forced to survive within.
Black Americans were not free until I say technically the 1960s, but I say the 1990s is when, because that's when rap music started becoming popular. I would say that's when Black people were like the beginning of all like the freedom stuff, because that's when Black culture started to be the defining source of what was cool and what was not cool. That's when people started to, like, I would say, copy Black people unequivocally, where like the way Black people dressed, you know, the way they talk, their vernacular, their ebonics and stuff like that became like the leading source for what companies, corporations, everybody else would use to determine what's cool, because that's when people started trying to emulate Black people.
The American system that denied us land, fair wages, education, and access to wealth, almost essentially keeping poverty as the default starting point for generations. And this created a thing called poor insecurity within the Black community. Poor insecurity is basically the anxiety that comes from living so close to financial collapse that your sense of safety, control, and self-worth feels constantly threatened. When survival is uncertain, people will look for visible proof and reassurance for themselves and others that basically say that they're not failing and they're not powerless because of their financial situation. This is because when you're constantly fighting an uphill battle and having to deal with racism and oppression and not given fair opportunity to grow financially and comfortably provide for your family, you create coping mechanisms to help create a new reality of your situation. And over time, that coping mechanism, it turns into placing value on things people can see, like clothing, cars, jewelry, and other symbols of success, because visibility and social validation basically becomes like an emotional armor that provides short-term relief from the fear and shame and instability tied to your living situation. And that coping mechanism is one of the main reasons why, as I mentioned earlier about new money concept, that makes people that earn or come across a lot of money have the urge to show it off. They're still battling their prior poor insecurities. But when it comes to parts of the Black community, that coping mechanism was passed down across generations as like a survival strategy. And then
so basically what I think he's saying is that the reason Black people tend to flex in the way that they do is because it's like and it's usually like the rappers and stuff that do this. It's a way to kind of like cope with like, it's basically to remind yourself that your situation is not what your situation was before. Because like I said, if you come from money, you will never feel the need to flex money, because you'll always be in the back of your head like, I'm rich. I've already got money. Why on earth would I need to show off money if I've always been around money? But if you've been grinding, you're finally successful. You know what I'm saying? Took trials and tribulations, hella losses. People might have died. You know what I'm saying? For you to finally get what you are, of course you're going to want to show it off, because it's like, bro, I made it. I got lucky. I fucking made it. Like, everybody has a situation in their life where they got lucky and they just wanted to tell the world that they got lucky. It's the same. It's whether good or bad, it's the same reason why you want to tell people when you make it out of something, because like you feel lucky. That's how people get caught up. That's why these scammers and stuff that you see like on TikTok, Instagram, social media, they're feeling lucky. You know how lucky you would feel if you could write a check right now, go to the bank and cash it for $10,000 and it's fake, but you got the money, you got away with it. Of course you're gonna want to flex that money. It's the same type of thing, whether it's a good or bad source. You want to tell people or show people like how much better you are than them. That's why money works in the way that it does, is because it's a physical way of showing that you're in a more comfortable situation than the next man.
Became familiar, then traditional, and eventually normalized within Black communities. Not because it defies Black culture, but because people were locked out of money and opportunities for a really long time. And we basically turned that insecurity into a beautiful and creative and fun culture that has continuously influenced the world. Also, I want to make this clear. Poor insecurity is not a Black thing. I know a lot of outside cultures or people like to...
Shit. And I'm sick, y'all, by the way, so y'all better like and subscribe.
Associate the poor experience with Black people, but poor insecurity can be developed by any person or any race who grows up poor. And this isn't something that just happened back in the day. people still currently have poor insecurities and still battling with those every day. If you grew up in a poor situation or you felt like you were and embarrassed by the situation, a lot of people are still battling that today. But how does all this connect to money phones and spreads? Well, physical money is just another symbol of success, like jewelry and cars. Stacks or spreads of money is basically like trophies, showing you beat the game in a sense. And as mentioned, it's emotional armor that provides the relief from the fear, shame, and instability tied to one's current situation, whether they're still living in an unstable situation, or even just they have money now, but it can still be tied to their insecurities of their poor upbringing. But this only explains why one person does it. This does not explain how it became the cultural phenomenon the way it is today. So I believe it became a cultural thing because of two main amplifiers. And these amplifiers basically allowed Black people a way to earn life-changing amounts of money like never before. So, what are those two amplifiers? First, we have the rise of the drug entrepreneurs in the late 1960s, or as most people like to call them, drug dealers. Drug dealers are important because they were one of the major inspirations in the Black culture, because a lot of them had the rags to riches stories, meaning they came from poor families or situations, and through their business of selling drugs, they were able to accumulate large sums of money. And with their business being illegal, this meant that most didn't put their money in banks. And not to mention that a lot of Black people also didn't trust banks because of what happened with the Freedmen Bank in 1874, causing a lot of Black people basically to lose their money and trust.
This class is part of the, it describes the policy begins if you're rooting for enslaved people. Oh, so they took their money. Wow. That makes a lot of sense. I wonder why Asian people also don't trust banks, because I heard that too. Like, a lot of Asian people don't trust banks. They just like store the cash in their crib and stuff like that. But that's absolutely insane. So they just stole their money and then just gave it to their white homie. Absolutely insane.
In banks. So this basically meant that a lot of successful drug dealers had a lot of cash on hand. And this became one of the moments where having stacks of money in your possession became a symbol of success and that you made out of your prior situation. And these successful drug dealers went on to inspire Black culture for many years and generations in the ways on how they showed off that they had money. But a lot of their lifestyle aesthetics was only known within the culture through word of mouth or through seeing the things they purchased. And a lot of their lifestyle wasn't documented at the time. Like, they weren't on no Forbes list or anything like that because their work was illegal, but their lifestyle was still influential to the Black community. And now we get to the second amplifier, and I'm sure y'all probably can guess it, which is the creation and evolution of hip hop.
Yeah, drug dealing and hip hop made flexing culture came from Black people, and the reasons that he explained are like really good reasons for why that would happen. Like, could you imagine putting your money in a bank and the bank's just like, yeah, we're taking your money? You would never trust that bank again. And then one of the ways you can earn money is illegal. You're just stacking up hella bread. You're eventually going to want to show off that bread, because it's like people tend to spend money with people that already have money. That's how it is, and that's how it's always going to be. That's why people fake it till they make it. I tell everybody, be delusional and fake it till you make it. Act like you got it, and you eventually will at least taste it. You don't lose anything by faking it till you make it. You only got one life. Why not fake it till you make it? So what if you get called out? If you just ignore it, what the fuck happens to it? It disappears, right? If a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, that shit didn't fall. I've seen so many people when I was younger, I would be in my head like, bro, why are they flaunting? Why are they doing this, bro? They're still living their lives, and they eventually got the money that they were flexing with, bro. It's a hit or miss, but it's like, why not do it if it's hit or miss? If me faking it, okay, so like, let's say this tea was messed up, dirty, all that other type of stuff like that. You probably wouldn't watch this video because you'd be like, bro, your shirt is dirty. You look crazy. Why would I watch this video? But if I had like a diamond Cuban on, Rolex, haircut, I don't have a haircut right now. You'd be like, oh, this is a dude I could spend whatchamacall with, and I could be in complete debt, and you would have no idea. That's just the way the human brain works. Most people don't question what you have. They just see it associated with something, and they be like, okay, this is that. The only type of people that are gonna like deeply analyze and try to figure it out is like if people already don't like you and people think you're a bad person, which is fine, because for every hater, you'll always get a supporter as well. Like, those supporters might become haters down the line, but every hater you get, you always get a supporter. That's one thing I've learned about this internet stuff. Every hater you'll eventually get a supporter out of somebody else or them.
Paper, you understand me? Little Floyd showed him a big bag of money when he's out there in Vegas gambling. You see that? And you can look at that. You can get close up if you want to look at that. You can look at that and try to figure out how much that is. Huh? Figure out how much that is. A stash, nigga. This is a stash. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you that other shit from coming.
That's
If
like
your shit can fit in
yeah.
a night box, it ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? Get your weight up.
So, hip hop has a lot of influence from the drug dealer culture and their lifestyle aesthetics when it comes to how you show people you are getting money now. So, when rappers started getting a lot of money from the rap music, you'll start to see the evolution of the ways rappers showed off that they had money. And it didn't start off with showing off stacks of cash when it came to like music videos and such. Because you gotta remember, before social media, there was only a couple ways to engage with your favorite rapper to basically get a glimpse of their lifestyle as a famous rapper, which was usually through, obviously, the music, of course, music videos, concerts, award shows, and magazines. And as technology improved, we also started getting things like blogs and then social media, which allowed the fans to have more access to the artist's lifestyle. And I'm not saying early rappers didn't talk a lot about money in their music, but what I am saying is a lot of them didn't show off stacks of money when it came to the music videos and those other platforms you would engage to see the artist at that time. During that time, a lot of rappers, it just started with clothes and jewelry and other symbols of success like cars and such. But then as hip hop grew and artists started making the most money they ever have from hip hop, and as technology grew, giving fans more ways to see the artist, we also started to see the most money start to get flexed and showed off.
Yeah, man. Hold out.
Bro, I miss Black Youngster so much. He was so entertaining. I hope he's still doing good, man. He was funny as hell.
Crazy, man. Hold out. Jumping jacks. You niggas want to work out. You muscles. You big muscle motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do when it's time to pay your bills? You gonna hit the gym then? What you gonna do when this shit get real? You know what I'm saying? Whoa, some racks, big racks. Uh-oh. 223, man. Go get the album. Album dropping 223.
Man, on behalf of endless CMG, man, you deserve this shit, baby. You know what I'm saying, man? Love, baby.
Oh, damn.
You know what I'm saying? Count that up, man. Tell them add that up.
Damn.
Add that up.
What they see here?
Man, you deserve whatever it is. You deserve it, man.
Blues.
You deserve it.
Blues. Blues.
Blues Brothers.
Damn.
1.5 to be exact.
What that is, cuz?
Some more shit.
What that is, cuz? Hey, cuz? What that is, cuz?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. This nigga in the camera in the front look hungry as shit. Man, I think the most amount of money I've seen at one time in my life so far was 50,000. That shit was ridiculous. And now, like, I get on TikTok now, like, I'll see a scammer TikTok, bro. He's literally like play fighting with like $50,000. That shit is ridiculous.
Nigga, 1.5 million, nigga.
What that is, cuz?
Yeah,
1.5 million, nigga.
Let me get out the car with this, man.
That's the speaker, man. You heard me? That's the speaker. That's the speaker.
And this was big because, as I mentioned, a lot of drug dealers were already living this lifestyle, like the lifestyle of the rapper, in the sense of having, like, you know, they had a little local fame, having a lot of money, having jewelry and cars and all that stuff. But it wasn't the same kind of spotlight that the rappers got. Rappers were allowed to show off their money and their lifestyle through all forms of media as media and technology grew freely, because being a rapper wasn't a crime, and being a rapper requires you to be on camera. So I believe a lot of earlier Black culture was shaped by the coping mechanisms rooted in poor insecurity, placing the value on visible success as a way to reclaim one's dignity and self-worth. That mindset then collided with the rise of drug dealer culture, where some Black people for the first time had access to large amounts of money.
I think in general, man, like, there's always going to be this, bro. There's always going to be people flexing. There's always going to be people spending the money stupidly. There's always going to be times you see somebody spend money in a way that you don't agree with, you're hoping that they lose it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the fascinating thing I think that it is about money, right? Because if it's not money, it would be something else. It would be something else that I always say, if it wasn't dollars, if we had a trade like in seashells or something, there'd be a nigga doing his money spread with seashells, bro. That's the fascinating thing about this shit. It's like, as human beings, we need something physical that's in front of us to show that we're better than the next man. And that's how it's always going to be. Like, and I think with black people especially, like he said, I think because a majority of black Americans were like so suppressed for so long, and then like through the 90s, through drug dealing, through hip hop, through black culture being used in commercials and stuff now, flexing money is just a part of the shit now. And it's not going to go away. Until America goes away, it's never going to go away. There's always going to be some new dude flexing bread that he just got, because there's so much money out there. I think that's something that I've learned as well, is like, you have to kind of expand your mind to how much money out there, because money itself is not even a real thing if you think about it. It's a fake piece of paper. At any time the bank can take it away from you, at any time people can take it away from you. It's a fake thing, but it does allow you to live a better life. So it's like, you still have to get it. Even if you know it's not real, you still got to go get it, because it's respected. It's the power of the dollar that's respected. Until you get so much money to where power is all you need to get money. And people people think too small when it comes to money. People think, oh, I just need to make so-and-so to get here. No. It's better with your one life to live and think you're going to become a millionaire than to think you're just going to be making $50,000 for the rest of your life. Because, like, let's say you find something that you love to do. Why not think that you could become the best at it and make unlimited money with it? That's a great motivation to have. Can't be your only one, but money should be like top 2, top 3 motivations that you have. Because if it's not, you're not going to make a lot of money. You know, if money's not part of your motivations, you will not make a lot of money doing what you do, because you will get taken advantage of. Like, let's say if you like to paint, but you just like to paint for the sake of painting, you'll either make no money or you'll make a little bit of money, because you're not demanding more money, because you don't think you're the best at it to deserve more money. But that's just like a fact of life, though. Anyways, man, that was like a great video. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, come to the 9th floor so y'all can learn the game the right way. I'm out this joint, man.